Good morning. The decision whether one should stay or leave in a marriage is one of the most consequential and painful one any of us ever has to make. On any given day, many millions of people worldwide will be secretly turning the issue over in their minds as they go about their daily lives, while continuously thinking of the momentous decision weighing upon them. Today, we have with us Sudeshna De, who is a highly skillful and disciplined academician with a government institution. She loves gardening and reading in her free time. Sudeshna, welcome to Utterance. You are
Good
here to
morning, Lavini.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
You are here today to tell us and inspire women who would need some motivation about your journey towards self independence from a relationship that you ultimately thought wasn't acting in your best interest. Take us through your journey from take us through your journey from here, and we will take the conversation forward once you finish your brief introduction. Yes.
Of course, first of all, I would like to thank you, Lumbini, for inviting me to speak on this platform. I had never thought that a figure like me could ever inspire women, but since you have shown faith in me, I'd like to begin by thanking you. As for my journey, I have always been just an ordinary woman. At least I've considered myself that. And like now, I am a successful teacher with a government institution in Kolkata. But there was a time when I wasn't so good in academics, when I was a very awkward student. But then I had decided that I had to do something in life. I always wanted to be a doctor or a teacher. But unfortunately, science wasn't my forte, so I became a teacher. I teach English at a government institution. But just like any journey of life, my road was also full of bumps. And I would also say that for each of us, our struggles are different. So, yeah, life hasn't been very smooth for me, but I am thankful to everyone who have stood by me and also to those who haven't stood by me, because from them I have learned a very few important lessons. And as you have said, yes, of course, I had a love marriage, and it was a college romance, a university romance, and just like any other girl, even I had dreams. But then things didn't work out in my favor. We both had, we both at one point of time wanted different things from life, and we both decided that okay, we had to set each other free. I will call it exactly divorce. I always say that we have set each other free. I have set him free to do whatever he wanted in life, since we realized after a point of time that we could no longer walk the road together. And he had also set me free. And now, as you can see, as all of you can see, I am settled in life. I haven't married, but I have found my own place in life, what I want to do as a single lady, pursue my career, pursue my hobbies, and look after my family, my parents. And heaven forbid, he had also found his place in life. So that is my journey from love, from a career, and now I am happy that I am established and have a career. So I am quite settled with everything, and it's working just fine up till now. This is all I have to say about my very ordinary journey.
True, it's actually extraordinary because of the way you have handled it. Sudeshna, in Indian society, we all know that there always had been a provision for divorce, but it's still not widely accepted as a rational solution by our community, especially especially if one is a woman who is taking this decision forward. What do you have to say about this? Has the frequency of divorces increased now that women are more empowered?
First of all, I would like to point this out that a divorce is never the rational option. It is the ultimate option, because any couple who gets married their first instinct is they would like to work the marriage out. They would like to make it work. So I feel that divorce is the ultimate option when there is no way left, when all efforts by the man and the woman have failed to make any difference. That is the point of time when a divorce is necessary. And yes, women have become empowered. I agree. But divorces had always been there. We, about the times of during our parents' time, there wasn't any registered marriages. Even my parents' marriage weren't registered. So how could there be a registered divorce? How could there be a court divorce? So separation, divorce, there were always issues. And as for women empowerment, yes, you can say that 5 to 10% of divorces have increased because women are no longer willing to take that shit. They are no longer willing to adjust. Yes, I agree. But if we look carefully, we see that even these empowered women, most of them are allowed to work by their in-laws, by their husbands. And some professions like the teaching profession and professors, teachers in particular, these are considered the ideal job for wives, for women who are married. Why? Because a woman can return home after 5 p.m. They can then take care of the family. They can then do all the chores. So basically, these are the jobs which are allowed by the so-called husbands and the family for a woman. Or if we see if a woman gets into a high demanding corporate job, then it ultimately very few men, I'm not saying that all men, very few men can accept a very established corporate working lady as their wives. Even now, look at the matrimonial columns. They will always say, we want a homely, fair, slim, good looking wife. That is it. How many of them say that we want a working wife? So this is the fact. So we can safely say that it hasn't made much difference to the rate of divorces and women empowerment. And there are also some some instances where even empowered women cannot walk out on their marriage due to certain social issues. Either they are not supported by their family, or they fear social stigma. Yes, divorcee. What will society say? Society will put the blame on me. Society will surely blame me for the divorce. So even now, I personally know many empowered women who are in the bad marriage only because of what other people will say, or because they have a child, and the
Correct.
duty and responsibility of a child solely rests on the mother.
Correct.
So this is my opinion about empowerment and increase of divorce.
Correct. So, Vishna, just one point. I think your video is shaking a bit. If you could rest your hand, then the video will
Yes.
not shake. Yeah. So
Okay.
you actually have a point there, Sudeshna. Do you think that society takes some time to start supporting divorced women and accept them back into normalcy? For instance, there are people who are gossip mongers and make it difficult for divorced women during social gatherings or say family functions. How do you think women should deal with these situations?
First of all, that our Indian society have always placed women on a high pedestal, like I'm using a colloquial term, Ghar ki Lakshmi. So you can understand that
Mhm,
women are placed on a pedestal,
mhm.
not because men and the family members worship the woman, because that set a standard for married women.
Right.
Ghar ki Lakshmi, how can a goddess afford a divorce? How can a goddess do any wrong? Goddess are goddesses. We are goddesses. We should behave in a certain way. So goddesses aren't supposed to go for divorces. It is a man's genre. A man is supposed to not tolerate a wife who's less than perfect. But how can a woman who's expected to compromise, expected to adjust, how can she go for divorce? How can she walk out on her marriage? And most of all, if she walks out on her marriage, who will again marry her? Again marry her. So marriage is the sole aim, the objective of a woman. If one walks out on a marriage, bad marriage, what will happen? Who will marry her next? Or where will she live? Will she live in her father's house? Will she buy a house of herself? So basically, society, Indian society, I'm talking about the Indian society will never accept a divorcee woman from the heart. And if a woman is divorced and a woman is empowered, people, our society, will never speak directly on her face because they're afraid of what answer they might get. But they will definitely talk behind the back. But I would like to always say that कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Society will always point a finger at you, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager. Society will point a finger at you because you're a woman. And I'm sure many women have faced this. You're a woman, you can't do this. You're a woman, you can't speak so loudly. You're a woman, you shouldn't go out after 9 o'clock at night. So divorce is just like any other issues which a woman faces. ladki hai. So women, as long as women are considered a burden by their family in Indian society, the society will not accept a divorcee woman. Even if they say they do, then they will not. They'll always judge. And I would say just one thing to deal with such a problem: ignore. Mark my words. Ladies, please ignore. IGNORE in caps. So, first of all, think that society will not pay your bills.
Right.
They'll not pay your bills. Yeah, of course. If your sometimes it happens that even your family is concerned, especially your parents, they always concerned about you, and they are growing old. They are of a different generation. They would like to see their daughters settle down again. And I would say that this is a tricky situation. You can ignore society, you can ignore outsiders. Can you ignore your parents? You can't. So the best thing to do is convince them, calmly convince them, make them see your point of view. And because they love you, they would surely understand. Just sit with them and have a talk and make them see that what actually makes you happy. They will surely understand. This is all I have to say for women to deal with such issues.
So, Vishnu, when a divorce happens, somehow society automatically marks one of the spouses as innocent and the other guilty. Do you think this approach to viewing should change? For instance, Amir Khan and Kiran Rao recently got divorced, or say Bill and Melinda Gates too. They seem to have gotten into a mutual agreement. Shouldn't society be less judgmental regarding these issues? I'm sure there must be extreme cases too where violence was a factor. Uh, what are your views on this?
Yes, society is judgmental because after all, none of us know what happens between a couple. It is very private, and I suppose the marriage is very fragile. It's the most fragile relationship that ever exists. So only the couple themselves know that what works for them and what works against them. So I think it's better to leave it up to them. Let them decide if they want to stay or whether they want to walk out. And yes, the there is a 60-40 chance that one of them is guiltier than the other, but it is hardly ever one-sided, hardly ever. And sometimes it is a mutual decision, like you spoke about Kiran Rao and Amir Khan. So it is their life. We should allow, the society should allow them to decide for themselves. Who are we to judge? We can only decide on our lives, what we go through. We don't go and we don't see what goes on between a couple. And of course, there are instances where one is guilty and one isn't. Like you spoke about physical abuse, and when a man comes home drunk and beats up his wife. So even here, perspectives differ. Some couple break their marriage, some couples go to rehabs, some try to work it out. So we can hardly say that one is guilty and one is not. I would always say that observe, listen to both sides. And who are we to decide? We are not judge, we are not lawyers. Let
Right.
them decide. Who are we to decide? Leave couples alone. Society, please. This is all I have to say.
Slowly the objections to quitting have fallen away. Actually, religions no longer terrify us into staying, society doesn't care, and psychologists routinely tell us that children would prefer a broken family to an unhappy one. The burden of choice therefore falls squarely upon us. The only thing probably determining whether to stay or leave is how we feel. Now, finally, Sudeshna, tell us, what exactly should a woman who's in a bad marriage do to save herself out of it? I mean, at what point should she finally take the call? Also, what could be the line of action that one must take before taking the final call? And how important is it for one's mental health? Talk about the mental health issues related to a bad marriage, please.
Now, first of all, I'm answering your first question. This is very big tricky that at what point someone should
Yeah.
walk out on a marriage. So even this differs for individuals. Like I'll give you an example. Some women forgive a cheating husband, others leave. Some women forgive a drunken husband and take them to rehab, others leave. So at what point you should leave a marriage, it differs for different women. So any one point is not applicable. What works for me, what I can tolerate, maybe you cannot tolerate, or what you can tolerate, I cannot tolerate. So as individuals, it differs that to what extent and when a woman should leave a marriage. But of course, there is one thing common. One thing I can say is that you only leave a marriage when your dignity and self-respect is compromised. Because on top of everything else is a woman's dignity and self-respect. When you feel that it is compromised, and when you feel that all your efforts have failed, nothing is going to work anymore, and it will not work for you, and it will only lead you to more humiliation and degradation. I would say at that point, walk out. And even this point, the lady, the woman herself has to decide. I cannot decide for you, you cannot decide for me, no one can decide for the other. So it is for the individual to decide at what point she no longer feels that the marriage will work in her best interest. And for mental issues, yes, of course, that's a very important point. Mental issues, mainly, I'm talking about myself personally, what I have faced. Depression is very common, and loneliness, lack of self esteem, self worth. Because when you walk out on a marriage, you always feel, I felt that I wasn't loved enough, not by anyone, not even by my family. I would react. Anything they would say, I would feel that they are blaming me. But in every case, it may not be so. It was just my overthinking, my overreaction. So, depression and loneliness are the two worst mental issues we need to, that most divorced couples, divorced women and men deal with. And how to, there is only one solution: get professional help, ladies. It really, really works. See, our family members, our friends will always be there to love and support
Yeah,
us.
but they are not
But at
therapists.
one professional help, all of us are going to discuss how we face life health, and believe me, ladies, it really works. It really calms you down, and it really makes you see certain perspectives, which only a professional can, a psychologist can help you with. We common people cannot help you with this. They can be by your side. So this is the only solution, the ultimate solution to deal with mental issues from a broken marriage. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Sudeshna, it is actually worse to publicly pretend to be together while privately be so disconnected. To publicly appear happy when one is actually burning inside, especially in social media, right? The more open we are about these issues, the lesser the shame becomes. The notion that only someone else can be your better half has to be rectified. Despite what trends show on social networking sites, talking about divorces openly is confined to certain pockets. There is hardly much creative work done that fights the stigma around divorce head on. So let's start working towards it in our own little ways, because every drop counts. Is there anything else you would like to add, Sudeshna? Because we have come to the end of our session.
I would like to say something for the society and something for the ladies also. First, for the society, which I know will obviously fall in deaf ears, but still, I'd like to say, please stop judging women. And please stop judging not only women, please stop judging. Don't be judgmental. Open your minds. Open your minds. Please look at the world around you. India is not the center of the world. Look around. Let women be women. Let women be women, because without women, you would not be there. None of us would be there. We are the creators. So let them be. And please show love and support. And to parents also, it is better to accept a daughter who has suffered a failed marriage than a daughter, and then a dead body of a daughter who has committed suicide because she was so pressurized by you and by her in-laws and she couldn't get anywhere. So please, may normalize divorces. Normalize, please. That is my message to parents and to the society.
Thank you, Sudeshna, for inspiring us a great deal. Thank you a lot.